Yeah, it feels like numbers is bad, but this year's numbers is worse.
I hope no one else is doing a bit, but I'm doing a bit.
Daddy's got a pod.
I'm Casey Kasem, and this one's for the perverts.
Join us in our strange ritual.
That is time traveling love smut.
I can only say horny in one season opener.
A medium amount of fun and an extra large amount of sweaty.
From the minds that brought you Giraffe and Amerisaur.
No regrets, no masters.
I got dick jokes to make, man. Leave me alone.
This is good. This is good for anyone.
This one's going to be weird. I'm very interested to see where this goes.
Hello and welcome to Debate This, the show where no one is right, but somebody is definitely wrong. In this show, we take time out of our busy adult lives to talk about comic books, video games, and the Cinderella story that is a $15 poker roguelike having the best chance across not 1, but 2 years to take down Elden Ring for Game of the Year, which that's a complicated sentence, but I will explain. So among the candidates for Game of the Year for Jeff Keighley's Game of the Year is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Elden Ring, not Elden Ring the game, but Elden Ring's DLC, because you may remember Elden Ring came out in 2022.
Yeah.
And the game Balatro, which we have talked about on the show, especially on the post show, which is a $15 poker roguelike, and then a few other games that I'm not very familiar with nor have played.
I want Balatro to take it all.
I do too.
I really do. It's going to play out like the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, where exactly what you expect to happen happens, and no one is happy, and the whole event will probably have a bad stream the whole night. So
yeah, I am happy for y'all card playing folk. I have not touched a Balatro, and it is not for me, but I am excited for you guys.
What's less for you, Matt? Balatro or Elden Ring DLC?
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That's the answer.
That is definitely the answer.
The secret third answer.
Yeah.
I did trip into a Balatro accidentally the other day.
Oh, man.
No, so this is legit. Dave the Diver, one of their DLCs that came out, has a Balatro mini, like a light Balatro, just a little.
I love that they did that.
It's a little taster.
A little taster.
Belittle.
And I get it.
Yeah, man.
I get it. I mean, I logged in to just play a simple little fishing game where I'm making sushi, and before I knew it, I'd spent 3 hours playing a mini Balatro.
Todd is one well-timed Steam sale away from losing 40 to 80 hours of his life.
Oh,
I mean, aren't we all?
I can't do it. I could do it, but I won't do it.
Aren't we all? Oops among us.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's the middle of December, and it is, in fact, the season. Tis the fact. Tis the season. Tis the fact.
Why are you saying tis so many times?
Tis the season for best and worst of the year countdowns, niche industry awards, and that special time of the year where Spotify presents us with our own baseline user data to show off just how unique our music tastes are to our friends.
And they did a bad job. They did a bad job.
They did a bad job running that SQL query this year. No one liked it.
Yeah. I am among the millions of people who got Pink Princess Pilates Power Mix 2.0 or whatever.
Where Spotify did everything except call you a slur. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really funny. Holy shit.
It's really funny. It's really funny. All right, so here's the deal. DT exclamation point Inc., a division of Omnicore International, has decided to roll out its own version of Debate This Wrapped. Yay!
Yeah.
Good.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Yeah.
How many times did Kyle bring a half-assed answer that he thought of 15 minutes before the episode started?
You're in the top 25% of users, Kyle.
Yeah.
Now, as you all know, when a bunch of out-of-touch millionaire executives with poison money brains get together, they tend to come up with the dumbest and most out-of-touch ideas.
Best
out-of-touch poison
ideas? Is that what you said? Best ideas?
Worst ideas. Because as time is shown again and again and again, executives will also not do anything without thinking it was their own ideas first. Lord knows how many times we have pitched slam dunk AAA game ideas that go nowhere. Where are all of our games that we pitched them?
Time is a flat circle.
Yeah.
We pitched at least 3 different games that are starring Waluigi, and none of them got made.
Not a single one,
We would
Todd.
sweep.
I'm still waiting for my Sonic the Hedgehog around the world in 80 days game. So
We would sweep Game of the Year awards if anyone would pick these
we'd
up.
be feasting.
Don't even know her.
That wasn't even that was so dumb, but
Wasn't
I thought
even a good joke.
but I liked it. So we're gonna flip the script today. Instead of doing the usual pitch the best thing, we're gonna instead try to pitch the worst, absolute worst idea to them. Something so hideous and draconian that they have to immediately write it off and hopefully go with something better. Because again, they're not going to do anything unless they think it's their own idea. So, joining me today are resident best of wrap-up experts, Matt, Aldi, Cole, Todd, Asana, Thomas, and Kyle, NPR Harper.
I don't get this one.
I don't see what we're doing here.
Yeah.
I am going to fail this New York Times game today, Andrew. I need the solution.
Yeah.
Is it Final
They're all-
Fantasy characters?
It's that's really good. It's not Final Fantasy characters. These are all organizations and services that have done their own version of Spotify Wrapped.
Ick.
Aldi. Aldi has
Good.
sent out.
Yep.
Good.
2 years ago, Aldi rolled out Aldi Wrapped. Asana was a personal vendetta because we use Asana at work, and I logged in and it was like, you've done 4,123 tasks this year, and then I threw my computer into the nearest body of water.
And then you waited to see how long you could sit in your car before you got bored and went inside.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. It's combination, like, it is very funny. It's like, okay, Asana, I see you, but also like, no, fuck off. I don't want this.
But also go eat a whole butt.
That was
Also,
absolutely someone's reason for quitting.
Yeah.
Like someone definitely
Yes.
they crashed out over that 100%.
They put their fist through the screen of their laptop and then shut the laptop.
Yeah.
So you guys, you get the bit. In the spirit of crashing out, please go one by one and tell me from among all of the products, the subscriptions, the services that you use in your very IRL life, what would be the absolute worst of them to feature an end-of-year wrapped summary? Let's start with Matt.
Yeah, Andrew, what I like the most about Spotify Wrapped, at least as an idea at its core, because let me tell you, I didn't like anything about Spotify Wrapped this year, but what I usually like a lot about Spotify Wrapped is that it gives me an opportunity to look in the mirror at who I really am. It gives me an opportunity to remember who I have been for a full year. I can remember, I had, this phase. I had this phase. I remember that song from earlier. It gives me a way to look back at how I spent my time. And I think that is the worst thing you can do to a human being.
Yeah.
If you were going to remind me what I have done to pass time between now and the void, you're committing a war crime. And I think that's how we can double down to find the worst possible Wrapped. And so, without further ado, I want to introduce to you Wrapped. It's like Wrapped, but for all of the movies that you've watched this year and forgot came out. And it's not even just all the movies that came out. It's like all the movies that, by having a subscription to the right app, you funded this. You made this happen. You gave this movie your money, whether you watched it with your human eyes or not. So this is Wrapped, which is, like I said, like Spotify Wrapped. I just wanted to get the name in there one more time. But we're doing movies that came out in 2024 that at least took some of your screen time, took some of your money, maybe just hounded your ads between YouTube videos. Okay. But I think that's the worst. I think
specifically
that's the worst we can do.
Movies from 2024, right?
Well, from this year, yeah. I mean, if we continue next year, it'll be movies from 2025.
Yes, of course.
But yeah,
I do want to point out to all the listeners, Matt is properly pronouncing the exclamation point in his title here. It's Wrapped exclamation point, and nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did well.
Yeah, Matt, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I saw you earlier this weekend. And in person, we were breathing the same air. And in that conversation we had at one point, there was a revelation that Madam Web came out this year.
It sure was. Yeah.
Is that
I still can't believe it.
Is that the gas in the engine of this answer?
It's pretty close to the gas in the engine of this answer.
I will say that we can blame Madam Web on. Good.
In my notes, like not the notes that you guys have, but in my notes, I went through and wrote a list of all of the movies that I think would be relevant to a conversation about our Wrapped that came out this year. So not like every single movie, but a lot of them. And I'll give some stats in the next one. But I do just want to say that I have them in release order, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movies on my list before Madam Web came out. So
Holy shit.
Just be ready.
Matt.
And none of them can be Craven either because you haven't even seen it yet.
No, I stopped at November, guys.
Holy shit.
That's later than Spotify cut the Spotify cutoff too, I think. Matt, is this not something Letterboxd already does? I feel like Letterboxd would do this.
Couldn't tell you, don't have it.
All right. Same.
Yep, I have absolutely no idea. And I'm sure that it probably does because Letterboxd has existed in a time post the invention of Spotify Wrapped. But mine's going to be better because it's not going to be about reviews you wrote. It's about movies I think are important.
If Asana put out a end of year Wrapped, Letterboxd certainly has.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, interesting. So Matt's going to talk about all the terrible movies that he loves to watch. Todd, what are you doing?
I want to start this with, I did try to make a bad thing. I think I might have accidentally also made a good thing, but I promise it will also be a bad thing. So I'll get into it. 2024 is a year, not great. Okay, we can just chalk this one up.
Objectively not great.
Yep.
Yeah, some highs, lots of lows. But there's one thing that's been there for us just every step of the way. And
Madam Web.
Madam Web.
On that list.
Well, we were all in the Amazon with her as she was studying spiders.
It was with her mom right before she died. Thank you very much. Put some respect on your chest, Todd.
I don't have it tattooed on my forearm like the real Madam Web hebs. Okay. The thing that has been there for us every step of the way is not Madam Web, unfortunately, but it is the video games we retreat to as a form of escapism from the ever-present horrors around us. That's what's always there for us, and that is why DT HQ Inc., a subsidiary of Omnicore International, is presenting this year Highlights Wrapped. So by connecting your Steam account, PlayStation Plus, Game Pass, Nintendo Online, the Apple Android game store, I don't know, all that shit, we are using cutting-edge AI technology to show you the greatest moments of your year in gaming. So, like, Matt, that 5K you hit on King's Row after you rampaged in with J Queen in March, it's there. Kyle, that turn 7 infinite loop you hit in Magic Arena over the summer, yeah, you got it, man. Andrew, that time your jokers lined up to create a 6-figure final score in Balatro during the end-of-year fiscal sales meeting you were ignoring, you better believe it.
Wow, target acquired.
Yeah, real Balatro-heavy episode today. Jeez.
Yeah.
All for the,
Game
for
of
the
the year.
web heads and the Balatro fans out there. You just better believe all of this, all of the gaming highlights of your year and the rest of those moments are there for you to relive here in Highlights Wrapped. So that's great, right? Really good. Who doesn't want to see their greatest moments of escapism flashback? Well, here's the thing. We're trying to squeeze just every inch out of the R&D done to build this tool, so we're going to add in just an extra feature as well to this. Because, like, every great moment in a game always has another perspective, and that's the other person you played against or the CPU itself. So, for funsies, we're throwing in the lowlights of the year as well. Or, as we're going to call it, big oofs wrapped. So, the algorithm, it's going to pull all of the times another highlight was created for a different perspective, bundle all that up, and puts it together and delivers it right to you. Because, again, if a bad thing happens in a video game, especially online, you could have been on the receiving end of that. So, Matt, that time the other team's May ice-walled your ult, effectively making your engagement push dead in the water before the fight even started, it's there. Kyle, the time that shiny Gyarados got away after all the time, or after hours of grinding, it's back, frame by frame, as you watch the Pokeball not work. Andrew, a supercut of all the times you didn't get your epic loot in the critically acclaimed MMO Final Fantasy XIV.
God damn it.
Better believe it's there. We know people want customized content, And instead of listening to the team voices saying that, oh, users want to feel good and have feel good content, we've leaned into just giving you all the you-centric content we can possibly find. And I know you're curious, so I'll just make it clear right away. The highlight wrapped portion of the content is absolutely less than a quarter of the length of your big oofs wrapped this year in 2025. Because 2025, full of big oops.
If we're all honest with ourselves, we all have about 3 times as many big oofs as we do highlights.
Yeah, the oof to highlight ratio is heavy oofs.
Yeah, heavy on the oofs.
Editor, please replace every time we say oof with the Roblox Tommy Tellerico oof, please.
Please. God. Please and thank you.
You'll get one.
All right, we'll take one. The idea that I would have to relive every time I've rolled low on a mount after a 2.5 hour raid makes me want to jump out of a window.
Yeah, the one that came to my mind is like Baldur's Gate 3 didn't come out this year, but a lot of people are still playing it. Every time you roll a 1, just a supercut of the failure, and then you reloading your game to save scum and start again.
Smack dab in the middle of the big oofs is all just all your ones in Baldur's Gate 3, definitely.
Yeah. It's like your entire life being recorded in a Let's Play.
I get an email from Blizzard every week talking about my weekly Overwatch performance, and I don't like
that's unfortunate.
How
Matt,
hard they're tapping on the glass.
Blizzard that's emailing you.
I don't want to talk about
that.
I went out of my way to turn that preference on. I am not proud. I am the monster.
Hey, real quick, Matt, are you good?
No.
Okay.
Thanks for the honesty.
Yeah.
Kyle, are you good?
Debatable. So, my Wrapped that I brought today, I really wanted to capture 2 things that I think the Spotify Wrapped does very well, and that's highlighting specific moments of your year, specifically usually low moments of your year, and shaming you for them, as you highlighted by Spotify calling you a pink pony Pilates princess or whatever it is, and that is exactly.
Well, it's just because I go dancing down at the Pink Pony Club.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
And that is exactly what the Wrapped Battle Pass is going to detail for everyone, whether you want to or not. See, the Wrapped Battle Pass is going to scan all your information in general and just let you know what in-app or in-game purchases you've made for the year, and then mock you for them. So this is kind of like Todd's, kind of like Matt's, but it's for everything. So if you've got the Starbucks app and you reload that every Friday morning in secret to get a special treat on the way to work, the Wrapped Battle Pass sees that and knows about that. If you hit that parlay at the last minute during Monday Night Football, the Wrapped Battle Pass sees that. We are scanning any and all in-app, in-game purchases. They're all on the table, and they're all grounds for shame.
Look, I'm going to be honest. I didn't know it was possible in this question. I feel like you're kind of like metal vampiring us right now. Like, this is a little bit of a metal vampire answer. You kind of have all the powers, Kyle.
This is the right answer, guys. Kyle has the right answer.
I'm going to quote Andrew's initial framing of the question where it says, doesn't have to be comic books or video games. And I ran with that. So, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there's a reason why a good answer is a metal vampire.
Yeah.
The only thing worse than what Kyle just described is if somebody relayed back to me my DoorDash purchase history.
Oh, that's bad.
We've got a whole post show where this spawned out of a DoorDash idea.
Yeah.
Because that's the Blue Yoshi answer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you look, end of the year summaries, top 5, top 10 lists, right? This has obviously been around forever. This is what we do here at the end of the year. But what few of you have already mentioned it, what makes Spotify Wrapped so popular and ubiquitous these days is how it packages and presents your own data back to you and makes you feel special and unique, even though that you listen to Sabrina Carpenter and Chappell Roan just as much as the other 80% of the country did this year. You're just like everyone else. So how is your Wrapped going to single out your users just like that?
Yeah, it's easy. When it comes to Wrapped, we're going to focus in, especially this year, on what people truly love. Because if you want to identify a Pink Pony's Pilates princess, you need to know what that princess cares about. And apparently in 2024, what we all cared about is sequels. Because out of the approximately 50 movies that were released in the year 2024, 39 of them were sequels or reboots or based on pre-existing IP. So what do you want? Did you want a new Mary Shelley's Frankenstein? You got it with Zelda Williams' directorial debut, Lisa Frankenstein. Did you want the second part of that Dune movie? That's right. Dune Part 2 came out this year. Were you a big Ghostbusters fan in the 80s? Did you know the 5th official Ghostbusters movie in the main timeline came out? Did you know there's 2 different timelines in the Ghostbusters universe? Isn't that awesome? What about a new monster movie? Godzilla x King Kong, The New Empire came out
Okay,
this
I think
year.
that one was supposed to be pretty good, though.
Yeah, I did watch it. It wasn't bad.
What if you're like a big fan of Zack Snyder and you really just want to check out his space operas? How about Rebel Moon? Part 2 came out April 19th of this year.
Matt, you can't make up movies just to make a point.
Yeah, no, that's not fair.
Fall Guy, that movie with Ryan Gosling where he's a stuntman who pretends to be an assassin. Did you know that was a TV series in the 80s that was remade into a movie?
I thought you were talking about Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds.
Different movie.
Different movie.
We got a Planet of the Apes movie this year. Do you remember that? Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. We got Bad Boys 4 in 2024. Hey, user, how many times did you see Bad Boys 4? What does that tell us about you and your relationship to Will Smith movies? That's how we're going to call out our users with Wrapped in 2024. I do just want to throw out a couple of other ones. We did get a Twisters reboot. Reboot.
We sure did get Twisters.
We got a Quiet Place movie this year. We got an Alien movie this year. We got a Beetlejuice sequel this year.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got Maxine, the sequel to the horror movie Maxine with 2 X's, which was the sequel to the horror movie Maxine with 1 X. 39 out of 50 movies were sequels this year. How's that feel?
Sucks. That
This
feels bad. And
this monologue was rough.
I'm really sitting with the what does that say about your relationship with Will Smith movies?
Yeah.
That sentence has a lot going on.
Has a lot of weight to it.
Yeah.
Matt, my only thing here is this any different than the last 5 to 10 years of movie releases?
You know, Kyle, this is the worst of the last 5 years, but none of the numbers are good. The numbers is above half for more years than you want to.
Yeah, it feels like numbers is bad, but this year's numbers is worse.
Yeah.
And those were all theatrical releases, right, Matt?
Those were all theatrical releases. Oh, did you want me to get into streaming schlock? Because I got a list of that too.
I don't.
Rebel Moon was a theatrical release, Matt.
That's definitely the one that it was not a theatrical.
Isn't that the Star Wars one?
That's the Netflix bought a Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, it really was? That was
Yes.
just a dumb joke.
I can tell you
What the fuck are we doing?
what Todd's favorite sequel of the year was. I think it was probably Mad Max Furiosa, or it was Deadpool 3. Because, hey, we got a 3rd Deadpool movie this year.
Yeah,
just another sequel, everybody. It's just another sequel.
I watched Mad Max Furiosa, and it's heartbreaking because Mad Max, the newer one, was really, really good, and Furiosa didn't need to exist.
Oh, see, I've seen people say Chris Hemsworth belongs in Actor of the Year contention for that performance.
It's definitely a different performance for him.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about this. This fucking sucks. This sucks. Thanks, Matt.
What do you think we're doing here, Todd?
Yeah, no, I know what we're doing here. I just don't want to look directly into the sun. I want to take quick glimpses at it.
That's what I got.
Todd, you go now.
Yeah. No, I got it. I'll give you more of this shit. So, when you launch your gaming highlights wrapped, big oofs wrapped, whatever the fuck I called it, after watching the good clips, because that's what it starts with, and before you get to the bad clips of your big oofs, you do get a customized wrapped slideshow, because that's what everyone wants their wrapped experience to be. I'm going to give you an example of some of the copy that you or users like you might get when you swipe through your own slideshow. Life moves fast. Luckily, we took notes. You played 48,000 minutes of video games. That's over 33 days that you could have spent with friends, family, or other loved ones. You played one game on average of 6.5 days per week, which puts you in the top 1% of all users. Your kill-death ratio of 20%, 0.20, puts you in the top 90% of users. Those are numbers. Over the year, you've changed, and so has your gaming. You started January playing Overwatch 2, but quickly switched over to the internet favorite Helldivers 2 in February. And in late February, your taste changed again when you started playing Overwatch 2. It's hard to pin you down. March was your poker-themed roguelike deck builder phase, followed by your return to MMO for the power of friendship phase. In July, what fun! One game had a very special place in your heart. You spent an average of 2 hours a day playing Hearthstone, with an average game lasting under 2 minutes, ending with you forfeiting. You're so efficient. That's just some of the fun, customized slides that any person could probably receive when they're doing their gaming Wrapped.
A specific summary of how many times you've scooped in Magic Arena or Hearthstone and like how long it's taken you to concede.
Yep.
Would cause me physical damage, not just like I would my nose would start bleeding if I saw how many games I conceded in MTGA.
I think if I were being truly honest with myself, I think one of my worst stats would be how many times you sat idle or on a pause screen while you were on your phone while a game was sitting there and you weren't doing anything because you got distracted by something else.
Yeah, that's my. How many times did you forget to walk out of spawn on defense for Overwatch 2 stat?
Yep.
Yeah.
What little screen distracted you from medium screen?
From medium screen, yeah.
But yeah, those could be anyone's, though. Not like it's...
Not specific to this at all.
That's not aimed inward at all.
Yeah. This is causing psychic damage that I didn't anticipate.
Out of the bit, and like, it's not aimed at Matt, but the joke about... You played Overwatch 2 and then Helldivers and then
Overwatch 2.
Overwatch 2.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
it's me.
The call's coming from inside of multiple houses, but yeah.
It's a crime we're certainly all guilty of. Overwatch 2, I think, is just the best punchline to the joke we are all guilty of. Like, we get
Smash cut to 10 minutes before this call when I played 15 minutes of Marvel Rivals. Like,
there it is. There's our boy.
I've got a lot more to say about this in the post show, but I'll leave it there for now.
We're also going to need to get Matt's in-depth review of Marvel Rivals in the post show.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Kyle.
Yeah, Andrew. No change here. We're going for incredibly specific.
No change here.
We're going for incredibly specific and mean call-outs. For example, do you have a Fortnite Battle Pass? We're going to show you how much money you were told you would save and how much money you actually spent in-game in comparison. Or did you cancel your Fortnite Battle Pass this year? We're going to show you how much money you spent on V-Bucks after canceling it and how quickly after canceling it you renewed that Battle Pass. Do you spend a lot of money on in-game cosmetics? How many of those are for one specific character and for more revealing cosmetics than others? You might earn our Perfect Pervert Award. And then, do you hit that parlay in the third quarter of Monday Night Football every week? You might get our Degenerate Gambler Award passed off onto you.
Oh, hell yeah, baby.
That one's too real. Like, I know degenerate football gamblers. That's too real.
Yeah.
They're usually nice people.
They are.
All apps where you can spend money are on the table for this, and we have made sure we hired the best 14 to 17-year-olds to make our targets specifically mean. You will be sad. You will contemplate death, and it will be in a very personal and shocking way.
I think society has made some mistakes, and that you should have to press more than 2 buttons to spend real money in an app. Yeah. There should be a third and possibly a fourth button before money go through apps.
You should have a sponsor that has to approve every in-app purchase.
That fucking app that the nerd speaker of the house has his son gets to see his internet history. Covenant Eyes. It's Covenant Eyes for spending money.
I agree, Todd.
What a pull.
You sure you need to spend $10 to get this fake digital pack of Pokemon cards that, isn't going to be a Blastoise EX? I'm telling you, it's not going to be a Blastoise next EX.
It's not going to be that second Zapdos EX that you've been hoping you've opened for a month and a half now.
You're getting ready to go to bed and your partner gets that 9 o'clock email and says, the fuck
are you doing? Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we got one more prompt. I think we can make it.
Let's land this plane.
Let's land this plane. So, you guys, when we all know immediately when Spotify Wrapped is available, because it's all you see on Instagram for the whole day. Really, when it comes down to it, what Wrapped is truly good at, it is postable. So, how are you going to ensure that your version of Wrapped goes viral with all of your users and their friends and so on?
Yeah, Andrew, first off, I think it's going to revolve around a heavy advertising campaign. I mean, that's big in the movie industry. So we are going to create a trailer-like presentation for Wrapped. It'll come to users sort of like their own personal movie trailer. And to advertise that movie trailer, we're going to do what we do with all movie trailers, which is buy 10-minute ad slots at the beginning of YouTube videos that you can skip after 15 seconds. So what's really important is those first 15 seconds. And believe me, we are only going to buy slots in the middle of 30 to 45 minute videos. So if you walk away from your screen during a 30 to 45 minute, let's say podcast you were listening or consuming, then we're going to hit you with a 10-minute preview in the middle of what you are consuming. Anyway, that's not as important as what is on the screen for those first 15 seconds. And I think it's important that we put together something really viral, a stat that really is going to grab folks. And that is this. We have split all of our users into 10 categories. Just 10. Which doesn't sound like very many, but we have divided.
But you will know how many it is when Matt lists all of them right now.
Hold on. In Matt's defense, that's one more than Enneagram personality test. Just saying.
We will divide listeners up into 10 categories based on how many tickets they purchased to the top 10 movies, highest grossing U.S. domestic movies of the year. Why are we doing that, you might ask? Because 9 of the 10 top domestic grossing movies were sequels. You know what the 10th was? Wicked. Is Wicked a sequel to Wizard of Oz? Kinda is. That's 10 out of 10 sequels, everybody.
Yeah, it's a prequel.
It's just distinct enough to technically not be.
So we're going to split everybody up into one of 10 groups based on which sequel they love the most. And then what we're going to do is we're going to piece together through our cookies of your user data everything that you've loved before that sequel and why it's led you to love that sequel. We're going to put together a montage. That's right, a movie trailer montage of all the things you have loved. Just to remind you.
So many
how old
garbage Marvel movies.
Wrapped.
Just when it hits that 10-year span where it's Marvel movies and like one date movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wish that I could go back in history and take back seeing Venom 3, Let There Be Dancing, or what was it?
The last dance.
Save the
Close,
last dance,
though.
right?
Closer than you think.
Yeah.
I thought Andrew got the Venom 3 movie and Joker 2 mixed up. Turns out two things did that this year.
Foi et tres.
Folly a Venom horse. Oh God, Todd, bring us home on yours.
Love to. So those highlights wrapped clips, they're just begging to be shared. Like, it's your best gaming moments of the year. And again, gaming's about escapism. Like, you're trying to escape from the bad things. And so, since you've linked literally every single online service you have to get this data, that share button is just ready to go through any of it. So obviously everyone is going to share their own big moments of 2024 through social media. Like, it's cool. You want to share the things you've been like really successful with, or these highlight moments. Easy. Got it. Now, we understand that people may not want to share their big oofs, and that's their right. It's your right to not share your big oofs. As an extra benefit to our users and in search of generating just as much content and connectivity as possible, when you share your own highlights, whatever user was on the losing end of that clip is automatically tagged in the clip. It's easy. So, depending on the platform, this may automatically put it into that user's timeline for their friends to see, because in case you haven't realized, social media platforms are that thirsty now, where if you get tagged in a thing, it'll populate out to your friends to see what you've been tagged in.
Oh my God.
And it's just an ease of access where our cutting edge AI engine can help users create more content and more engagement by auto-populating these fun gaming moments into their own feed that will just guarantee that your own circle sees exactly the type of gamer you are. That's a good one, probably. You're probably a good gamer. You've certainly got more good moments of gaming than bad moments.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I was struck by the fact that a third of any content you see on a social media platform like Instagram or, God, the hellscape that is Facebook is not things your friends have done. Mm-hmm. It's things your friends have been tagged in or liked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's horrifying.
It's awful.
Watch a 36-year-old man just trying his best and being bullied by 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle.
Yeah. So, Andrew, because we've effectively just scraped and weaponized everyone's user data to make the Wrapped Battle Pass, we've also been able to use that data to piece together who our users interact with on a regular basis. So one day after everyone receives their personalized Wrapped Battle Passes and experiences that initial wave of shame, we're going to send a second wave of Wrapped Battle Passes out, sharing your Wrapped with the person in your contacts who we've determined will be most interested in your worst spending habits.
Oh no, it is Covenant Eyes.
A second wave of Wrapped Battle Passes has hit the users.
Do you keep blowing the family budget? Maybe your partner would be interested in how many digital packs of cards you opened this year.
No!
I will take that to my grave. I would rather show my search history for the last 37 years of life.
Or maybe that coworker who keeps asking you to go to lunch every Tuesday would love to learn that immediately after you send them that no text, you load $10 on your McDonald's app and just go to town on a Big Mac by yourself in your car. Maybe your parents would love to know that you are spending your time after work, not furthering your degree, not texting them, calling them, but logging 30 to 30 hours a week into Fortnite. Maybe they'd like to know that. Regardless, they're going to find out, because we're sending out the second wave of Wrapped Battle Passes, whether you want us to or not.
And I hope they come out right before major holidays. Like,
that
would be,
Yeah.
Like I'm talking like 5 p.m. on December 24th.
Yeah, like
Just really fucking wreck the rest of the winter holidays.
maybe not a day later. Maybe we'll give you a week. So 1 week before Christmas, you get your shame, and you might share a funny bit of data pulled out of that. Then 2 days before everyone heads home for the holidays, we just send this terrorist announcement out to everyone in the world.
Like Bitcoin ransom pirates.
I really like how Kyle has commercialized blackmail. It's really good. All right, well...
Blackmail you're usually doing in exchange for something else.
Yeah, this is just for funsies.
This is just for the love of the game.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Some person with their thumb on the pulse of the algorithm was like, what if I weaponize this
Yeah.
to ruin a bunch of people's lives that I'll never meet?
So these are all three uniquely distinct nightmare scenarios, which mission accomplished, guys.
We did it.
We did it. It's been hinted at a couple times, but I want to categorize exactly why anyone who doesn't know Spotify Wrapped was so exponentially weird this year is because they decided to roll out a feature that gives everyone a 4 to 5 minute podcast. And my emphasis declaring that I'm using air quotes there. This podcast is generated and read by AI that goes through your Wrapped results. And everybody disliked that.
Yep.
To hilarious results.
Yeah, there's some pretty good ones.
We gotta talk about this in the post show.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want each of you to give us a demo of your ill-conceived AI summary podcast Wrapped. Stick with us. Welcome back. All right. Once again, just to recap our super secret bonus, I want each of you to give us a demo of your version of the weird AI podcast that Spotify rolled out this year. Let's start with Matt.
Yeah, so to start, we're going to combine kind of Spotify's idea of this AI podcast along with the artist videos that you can get from your Spotify Wrapped, but we're not going to use like the stars of the movies that you've seen or anything. We're actually going to use the CEO of the theater company you patronize the most. So for this example, it's going to be Greg Marcus from Marcus Cinemas.
It is going to be Greg Marcus. Of course it's going to be Greg Marcus.
Yeah, so it'll go something like, "Hi, user. It's me, Greg Marcus, here to remind you that in February, you spent Valentine's Day watching Madam Web. Congratulations. You are amongst the 7% of people who bought tickets in February to see Madam Web. Also, you watched Longlegs. Did you know Longlegs was the third Nicolas Cage movie released this year? Of course, we here at Marcus Cinemas only put Longlegs on the schedule. The other two were too indie for us to show in this theater. Hey, also, we see that you watched Beverly Hills Cop: Axel F. That's neat. How do you feel about Eddie Murphy's return to acting? Make sure to let us know by leaving your 5-star review in the app."
What's his name? David Marcus?
Greg Marcus?
Greg Marcus. Sounds a lot like the movie phone guy. 1. 2, I think Greg Marcus was a better pool than Jimmy AMC. So
yes.
Good call there.
It's refreshing for me to hear Greg Marcus say something that's not him telling me how movies aren't meant to be watched on a little screen.
Yeah.
He so often tells me whenever I do go to see movie on big screen that movie can't be watched on little screen.
And then Todd proves him wrong by watching a different movie on his phone in the theater.
Yeah, right.
Just to tell him what's what. I've given him my money and I'm going to watch a different movie.
Greg Marcus is a very good answer. We would have also accepted Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman was also on that list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very honest question for you, Matt Cole.
Yep.
How was Longlegs? Is that any good?
I actually haven't seen all of Longlegs. I saw most of Longlegs. It was fine.
It's fine? Oh, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
Todd.
Yeah, I'm just going to give you what I think it's going to sound like in general. So we'll just run with this.
Yeah.
Coming to you from the DTHQ Quantum Podcast Lab, it's Jonathan and another person also named Jonathan to give you a rundown of your 2024 gaming highlights, Wrapped. We sure are, Jonathan. Let's talk all about Todd's year in gaming. Well, let's see here. It looks like Todd spent most of his online gaming time playing Overwatch 2. Oh, Overwatch 2? Is that the critically acclaimed multiplayer game out by that studio Blizzard? That's it, isn't it? Sure is, other Jonathan. Todd spent most hours online playing Overwatch 2 this year and won some of the games he played. Some? Wow. Not everyone wins some of their games, so you'd say Todd had a pretty good year in games? Oh, absolutely. In a normal 2 hours of gaming, Todd won some games, and get this, the games that he lost, well, those were the other ones. Well, you can't win them all. Speaking of winning, let's talk about some of the winning Todd did this year. Oh, I'd love to, but we can't because Todd really didn't win at any game he played outside of his 6th time playing through Earthbound on the Nintendo Switch Online Virtual Console. What did his overall playtime look like? Good? Bad? Standard? Oh, very standard and unremarkable overall, if not slightly slower than most other users. He seems like the kind of guy who really likes to explore the whole map to find all the secrets. Not at all, Jonathan. He just took a really long time with no actual distinguishable reason why. Fascinating.
I chortled my water.
Fascinating. Anything else interesting about his Earthbound playthrough? Barely. It's worth noting that he started that playthrough after playing 8 hours of Earthbound Beginnings on the Nintendo Switch Online Virtual Console. Earthbound Beginnings on the Nintendo Switch Online Virtual Console, that's from the original Nintendo Entertainment System, right? In 1989? He beat it that fast in 8 hours? Absolutely not, Jonathan. He actually failed to get further than 95% of other users before never playing it again. Fascinating. Anything else to note from Todd's year in gaming? Oh, yes, there is one more thing here. It looks like Todd put over 70 hours into perfecting his sushi restaurant in the hit indie game Dave the Diver. That puts him in the top 10% of users. Oh, that's an impressive feat. I'm sure his dedication to video games is reflected in his professional career growth and real-life world, and those that he cares about in life are all deeply proud of all he's accomplished in his sushi restaurant. No, not at all. That's what you can look forward to when you let this invasive thing into your life.
Bleak.
Grim, even.
Bleak. Grim. Do you guys ever get those TikToks that are like, did you know when you fish and chips, sometimes you get fish and chips, and then the fish and the chips, fish and chips? Do you ever get those TikToks?
Mm-hmm. I don't.
Okay.
I'm not on that side of TikTok.
Putting different bricks in my page, tell you what.
Fair enough. Well, that's what that was. It was AI yammering for
just
7 minutes.
AI babble.
Perfectly encapsulated that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Kyle, what do you got?
Yeah, Andrew. So if your Wrapped Battle Pass podcast might sound something like this. It was a big year for Kyle in his spending habits. He had a big day on January 6th, where he renewed his Apple Music subscription.
Sorry. It hit me like a
Kyle may never
punch in the face.
September 11th.
Yeah.
Moving through the year, in February, he spent $400 on Magic the Gathering Arena. Moving into March, he spent $30 on Magic the Gathering Arena. So forth and so on.
Yeah. Oh, good.
So there's a guy on TikTok that I get all the time who like sits down with people who just have really traumatic finances. And
I get this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got these bricks. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I'm now imagining Kyle turning over his credit card statement, and it's like he had a woman on there who spent like $150 to $300 a day on like drop shipping clothes, like just clothes and clothes and clothes and clothes and clothes from the website Free People. And he's like reading through, he's like, Free People for $150,
yeah,
for $320. In my mind, he's like, Magic the Gathering Arena for $100, Magic the Gathering Arena for $40. You logged in and paid 5 times in one day.
I want to clear the air here and now. I spend at most $20 a month on Magic the Gathering Arena, and it's
Julie
how else
will
you
get
draft?
That email, and she'll tell us what the truth actually is.
She will, and it will back my claims up.
Kyle, what is a cube, and why have you spent so much money on it? All right, let's close out these waking nightmares with some end closing statements.
Andrew and whoever it is making the decisions here, it is important for us to remember where we came from. I mean, there was a Garfield movie this year. That's crazy.
Chris Pratt's Garfield.
Not only was there a Garfield movie, there was a Megamind movie this year, and Kung Fu Panda 4 came out.
There was a Megamind cartoon series, Matt. Let's pump the brakes.
No, there was a movie too.
Oh, that's upsetting.
Yeah, I mean, there have been 4 different major biopics that came out this year. Amy Winehouse, Bob Marley, Ronald Reagan, and Donald Trump all got their own biopic film. And there was that one where Zendaya played tennis. We need to remind the people, Andrew. We need them to get Wrapped.
Zendaya is 3Chi. Is that anything?
That is.
I don't want to say that it's
so
not.
many layers of shit. That is, I am at a costume store trying to pull a hat that is wedged so tightly in a stack of hats out of the hat stack.
Todd.
I'll keep this brief. You don't have to like this idea of gaming wrapped or highlights wrapped or big oofs wrapped, but due to all the repeated agreements with our gaming platforms and social media agreements and platforms, this shit's coming your way regardless. So best just lean into the skid.
Fair enough. Kyle.
Yeah, we've been asked a lot why we are putting out the Wrapped Battle Pass, and we can answer that with one word: chaos.
Good.
All right. We've done a lot of damage to each other emotionally, spiritually, probably physically. So let's bring the vibes back.
Yeah, I really liked that we all just kind of beat the shit out of ourselves for the last hour. I thought that was pretty fun. And honestly kind of cathartic in a weird way. Todd, cannot explain the kind of psychological damage that would be done to me if I got not only a wrapped of all of my highlights, but a wrapped of like all of the times that I walled off somebody and let them die as May, or like I did something else in Overwatch because I only play that game. Or I guess I play Hearts, the card game, on web browser a lot. So like maybe all the times I accidentally played Queen of Spades too. But those are really the only bad things that happen to me in video games. I still think that's a great idea. Kyle, I am in danger. If you gave me a wrapped of my Sheets app, I would cry. I'd cry. I just can't know those numbers. They are lost to me like Eldritch language, and the concept of having it packaged neatly and function across all apps upon which I spend money is horrifying. eBay and Sheets alone would destroy me as a human being, and I am not proud of that.
Matt, I think I get out of yours fairly unscathed, but society in general is made a worse place by what you have presented here today. So I want to make that clear. Like, though I am marked safe of this villainy, this, after another year or two of this weird everything is sequels and nothing is new, would really do something. Someone would weaponize this. I mean, probably to break the system and make it better again, but not before just really, really ruining some lives along the way. Speaking of things that ruin lives, Kyle, what you said, the number of times my partner has walked in on me just moving Magic cards around into new boxes is a lot. And the only thing that is keeping our marriage together is that I manage to find cards worth value, and I sell and I continue to feed the monster to keep things largely in the black.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if I saw the real numbers to show how in the red they are, we would be in marriage counseling too quick. So I want you to keep what you've presented to yourself, and if not, I'm going to find you.
All right. Yeah, Matt, I like yours because it sounds a lot like what the Spotify Wrapped is. It's just, here's the media you consumed, but it reveals the underlying horror of society more than Spotify Wrapped does. By holding that mirror up to us is like, these are the movies you dum-dums watched. Guess what? Next year, it's going to be 10 out of 10 sequels. We won't have to put that asterisk by Wicked. So, good job. Just making us all feel bad for things that have been in motion for years now. And Todd, yeah, I don't need to know, one, how many hours I've spent playing Magic Arena this year, and two, how many of those hours I've spent quitting a game 3 turns in because it didn't look like it was going to go my way. This is bad, and that's all I have to say about it. Good, we all did good job bringing bad things today.
You guys, to echo Kyle, you guys did really good bad. You did really good bad things. I'm just gonna say Kyle wins. I think we all know in our heart that Kyle wins.
That's actually damaging on multiple levels.
Because if Kyle actually won, all 4 of us would be divorced. So the ramifications of Kyle's thing being real. But I want to shout out specifically Matt and Todd's, because I really liked the way that you took both of these. Initially on at first blush, like when I saw your thing in the notes, it was like, okay, I'm gonna do movies and my video games. It's like, oh, okay, that doesn't sound that bad. It's bad. It's really bad. You made it bad. Like I said, you did good at. You all did really good at making it bad. And I am a little bit concerned about having to pitch this thing to the execs, but I'm going to remain confident that this will be so bad that they will in fact do something else. So congratulations, not congratulations.
Have you learned nothing from the past year, Andrew?
I realize how ironic the timing is on that statement.
What I'm taking away from this is that maybe you shouldn't over-examine your hobbies and your habits. If no one's getting hurt, don't.
Just keep that lid closed.
Yeah. Just, I've always thought that like being a responsible member of society meant when you pick up a rock and you see the gross things, you can't just put the rock down. No, we're putting these rocks back. These rocks go back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a real underlying message here that raw data does not always tell the whole story. And sometimes raw data can be weaponized to hurt you. And that's the most salient thing I've said here.
It doesn't tell how just like good of a person I am, right?
Data doesn't have morals. Data is just data. And sometimes there isn't a story that needs to be told by that data. So put the rocks back, buy proxies, download PDFs, download ROMs.
Keep that ancient tomb sealed.
Yep.
The trove.com is certainly a website that absolutely does not have PDFs of all of your favorite books.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to keep adding to this list of takeaways for the year of 2024. But until then, thank you so much for listening to this nightmare hellscape that we've crafted with our own hands. You can follow along with the arguments on Threads, Facebook, and Instagram at DebateThisCast, or on our website at debatethiscast.com. One other thing, we have a listener survey. It's pretty new. We're going to have it up, and we're going to link it in the show notes because I don't have a link in front of me, and that's okay. But in the show notes, please take a few minutes to fill out our survey. It really helps because it's frankly can help us craft the show that you want to hear. We've been doing this for a long time, and we're very flexible and open to feedback and open to changing things up if we need to. So please take a few minutes to consider doing that. It's also free, so that's a great way to support the show. Until next time, I'm Andrew Henderson.
I'm Matt. 2024 is the year we got Bill Skarsgård as the Crow in a reboot of The Crow. Cole.
I'm Todd. Todd, what have you done? You've made a bad thing, and this is all dumb. Oh, mama. Thomas.
Good.
And I'm Kyle. No, I needed those Overwatch skins for work. I swear. Harper.
And we're saying thanks for debating with us. And if you think we're wrong, you can come fight us behind the swing sets, nerds.